They say freedom ain't free. Well, I paid my dues. Red, white, and blue, I know my roots. Locked and loaded, standing tall. The right to bear arms, it's for us all. I want a gun, I wanna fight. Stand for my freedom, stand for my rights. Shall not be infringed, it's plain to see. You don't get to take it away from me. Passed down strong, from father to son. Protection, tradition, day one. I ain't looking for trouble, but I won't back down. Defend what's mine on solid ground. I want a gun, I wanna fight. Stand for my freedom, stand for my rights. Shall not be infringed, it's plain to see. You don't get to take it away from me. We the people, we hold the line. This ain't just words, it's how we shine. From the mountains to the plains.
That was the wrong thing, sir. Hold on. All this stuff has to be edited out. I need it to come. Nah, I guess it's all right. Let's see. Yeah, I had so much fun shooting today, man. That was
That
awesome.
was some nice shooting.
Thank you, sir. Let's see. So I thought I'd view it.
If I
So I
got
got.
any kind of results similar to that, I think I should go shooting more. But
But you started with the. All right, so I got to encourage you every day. You
well,
started setting
because
up the
the
thing
pistol
where.
sucks. I can't stand them fucking sights.
Yeah, I get it. Like I'm still shooting. All right, two of my guns have iron sights. The new one, which was jamming like a mother today.
And I don't know how
And
to adjust the sights.
oh, really? I
Yeah.
wish you were here, man. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see. Is this still downloading? No, it's not. All right. So now, okay. I'm sorry. All right. Here now you'll be able to do it. All right. So you can play it whenever you want. Yeah, but I just go a lot. You know what I'm saying? I go. I don't dry fire as much as I should. The whole act of doing it. You know what I'm saying? But I have. But I think I have to give my hats off to Lee, man. Lee really
I
helped
was
me
gonna
out.
say, didn't that guy tell you how to hold and stuff?
Yeah, he helped me, so I never really knew how to shoot any other way. You know what I'm saying? And then I watch a lot of videos and people talking about it. So with what I have and understand, I just built on it. You know what I mean? So, but just gotta go. And you got it in his yard, man. I would just 20 minutes every day, just take it out and plink with it. You know, because every gun you can get to shoot, some suck, but you got to find it. Like my man was using my gun today, and he was like, I got to find where it is because you'll look a certain way, and it's hitting something else, and you adjust to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I just started shooting a lot more. And every time I go with purpose in terms, like today, I was like, all right, I got to concentrate, and I'm going to try to do this. Because before I was just trying to double tap. So I was getting to the point where I could bounce back and stay on, you know,
The
and making
Seon's
sure.
good too. Yeah.
Yeah, and then making sure my wrists are stiff enough. And like when I'm missing, I know I'm not gripping right. Like I usually put a lot more pressure on my offhand to pull back. And with that,
Hmm.
I usually can shoot pretty well, you know. If you guys were here, we'd be out there every Saturday, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. I'd definitely be on more often. But I
Did you?
think what I'm gonna do is get a ball, like a lacrosse ball, tennis ball, something
Mm-hmm.
that I can put on the
That would.
ground and and
Oh,
move it around. And because I
that's what
did the
we.
paint, I have a ton of aerosol paint cans,
Okay.
but that wasn't as for me. I didn't. it's not what I expected yet because
Mm.
I'm not good enough for that. Like,
Okay, okay. The tennis balls are good. What me and Malia were practicing with our ARs and our 22s on the 50 to 100s were golf balls. You know what I'm
okay,
saying?
golf
It
balls,
was fun
tennis
with
balls, they all work. Okay,
the tennis balls would probably work, but the golf balls are hard. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So I mean, they're smaller. So get tennis balls first. And because once you hit the tennis ball a couple of times, you got to put another tennis ball out. The golf
Yeah,
balls last for a while, but we got to the point where I would shoot one, it would roll, she'd wait for it to stop, then she'd shoot it, and it would set out further, and then I would shoot it, and we got them all the way out to 100. You know what I mean? And we'd put
that's
five
cool.
out at a time, so we'd keep doing it. Yeah,
Oh,
and that
nice.
way, yeah, we got really pretty. Like Malia's pretty good. She can shoot, man. But it was just us doing that a lot together, especially like when it was the lockdowns. Um, Calverton was open. He made it where it was outside. You could socially distant. They would do every other um, bench,
Yeah, yeah.
and we were going all the time, man. I think we went 8 months straight every Saturday. You know,
Wow. Oh my
yeah.
God.
So
I
after a
don't think I've
while,
been
you
that
just
many times in my life.
I got so I got really good at shooting. I mean, I have pretty good optics on things, but I got pretty good at shooting because we were just going. That was the thing that we were doing during COVID.
Yeah.
The handgun stuff, I had no clue. It was funny. The first time I was shooting with the handgun, I was missing paper, man. I was like, yo, where's the dang on bullets,
Yeah,
bro?
yeah. That's what I'm
I had
saying. It's like
no
annoying.
clue.
And then trying to figure out where it's going by myself is hard because now you're like not even looking and you're trying to, you're not looking at the sights. You're looking to the side, trying to see at the ground, like where's it hitting? But now
Mm-mm-mm.
you're not looking. So it's
Well,
you're
you know
like,
what you should do, like the way we are at Ridge, and I watched them doing changing out each target, and they just have a wooden stake. They have two by fours wedged together by a 2x4 length. So they take a stake 2x4 sideways, where it gets wedged in on the ground. Is that making sense? Two parallel 2x4s with the length, the distance between the two, with the blocks on each side squeezed together, where there's
okay,
space in the middle just enough for another 2x4. They go up about 4 feet, and then they attach like a frame, like a picture frame, and on the picture frame you just do some paper targets.
right.
And they do it like that. You could set that up in his backyard so you can now actually see what you're hitting at. And if it's behind it or to the left of it or the right of it, you're having a dirt mound of some sort, so you'll be able to see, oh, I'm off to the left, I got to bring it over to the right, or I'm high.
Well,
And
that's what I'm
that's how.
saying. It's trying to see at the same time where it's
Mm,
hitting.
I
Sometimes
got
it's
you.
harder
But
depending what you're shooting.
if you start with that target that you make, you can start at 3 feet and
Yeah.
then move back a foot, and then move back a foot, and then just keep following from there. It might be a little easier. You
All
know what I'm
right. So
saying?
start up closer. I'm starting
Yeah.
at like 30,
Oh,
40.
my man. All right. So I've been talking to my boy Rich. You guys are gonna meet Rich. Rich is one of my best friends from when I was much younger. The whole sob story stuff. He's around for those days. But he picked up, like, he started shooting a rifle probably the beginning of the year,
Okay.
maybe the beginning of the year. And I've been coaching him through things, just talking to him about stuff. And like, we know each other, but we both never really had guns, obviously, because it's New York. So when he heard that I was shooting, he was like, okay. And I could tell everybody around him's giving him advice. So he just thought, oh, this guy. But then
You're right.
stuff started making sense over time. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I'm a student. I learn the stuff, and I always will when I jump into something, just like you. So he got his handgun because there in Virginia, I think, do they open carry in Virginia? They might even open carry in Virginia. I
I
don't
don't
remember
remember.
exactly what it is, but he was having the same problem, and he was frustrating the hell out of me. He talked to it because I'd go Saturday morning, he'd go Saturday afternoon, and then he'd tell me, "I hate my guns, I hate shooting." I'm like, "Nah, man, calm down." And he was doing 7 yards and couldn't hit, and it
What?
was frustrating him. Yeah, it was
Wow.
frustrating the hell out of him. So it was the way. I mean, because it's the way you hold. It's and that's almost everything right there. And people don't understand that you got to be really high up on the back of the gun, as high as you can possibly go,
Well,
and you
I
got to
got
have
bit the
that.
first couple times because I grabbed it
Oh,
wrong.
that's right, the slide bite. See, that was one thing about the Bull Armory. They kind of modeled it almost after a 1911, so they have this guard, this
The
dovetail in the
guard.
back,
Yeah.
so it doesn't really do that to you,
Yeah,
you
my
know.
friend, the first time I shot pistol, it was his gun, and we were at the Calverton, and he's like, "No, don't!" And I already grabbed the trigger, and I was like, "Ah!"
Yeah, that's crazy. But anyway, so I've been talking to him, and like he went through like 4 guns already, or 3. Maybe I'm exaggerating. I don't know. But he loves this Glock that he has, and for some reason he just can't shoot it. And then he bought a K&H. I'm not sure if he said that one's okay, but he's getting frustrated as well. And I told him, I said, yo, when I first started, man, I was missing paper. You just got to hang on in there, you know?
Right.
It'll work out, but you got to just keep going. You got to be persistent, consistent, and then think about it. Like say, okay, the next time I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna try this, and then try it. But if you don't do it, you're just never gonna get better. But it does happen. It changes. Like you saw me shooting today. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? So,
that was a
and
good distance.
yeah, it's about 35 to 45 or something crazy like that. Something. And
Yeah, so I was doing like 10 and 12's not a problem,
okay.
but then it's once I get a little farther out, it gets to be,
But like you said, you're also iron sighting. I'm shooting my
with that red dot thing or whatever.
Springfield. Yeah, that was the red dot one. But I'm shooting the Springfield, and I'm like maybe 50, 60%. Because also it's heavier gun, so the recoil's cool, but it's still trying to figure out and be consistent because you have to be more consistent. Is that the right word I'm thinking about? Maybe not the right word, but it is a little different with the iron sights. It might be a mental thing. I'm not too sure, but I'm still hitting with it. So, and I'm doing it at that distance. If it was closer, it's no problem. Because when I do go to Calverton, I'm thinking I'm probably at 20
I think
yards.
it's
And I'm
20,
on
yeah,
paper.
Calverton.
I'm a
Yeah,
I'm a paper. I'm hitting on paper, but I'm trying to hit bullseyes. So I'm really trying to like, okay, I'm concentrating on quadrants on the paper and stuff like
yeah,
that.
like certain.
Yeah. So, but keep going. Like you set it up at his place, man. I'm telling you, take a lunch when you take a lunch break or right at the end. Just shoot a couple, man. Yeah.
I
We're
think
going to
so.
meet at Shot Show, man, and we're gonna go to range day. So you gotta make sure you can shoot, so you're not embarrassed looking around your shoulders like, did anybody see me shoot?
It
But I
is
just
all the
love it.
range etiquette and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The better I get, the more addicted you get. It's really cool, man. Yeah. And
I
you
like
saw,
hearing them plinks, like you
yeah,
said, the
it's
steel
nothing
was
like
nice.
that,
You're like
man. It's
ting,
really,
ting, ting.
yeah. That keeps you going. Once I did that, I was hooked. I mean, I'm already trying to do as much as I can on paper, but once I had that steel there, wow, that's fun, man. That's really fun. I think I need to put the camera down a little bit. I keep hiding my eyes. My big Yankee hat. I love this hat. So, I was talking to Sean, a Wolf, and it was the same thing. I was like, "You guys abandoned us." So we left the Empire State, but it's cool because we got different perspectives now. You got South Carolina, you got Florida, and we both
Yeah,
can
right.
all can talk about New York to a certain degree because
Yeah, yeah.
new stuff has happened since you guys have left. But um, so one of the things that we talked about is like we're trying to
South
follow that.
Carolina.
Yeah, we're trying to follow that whole, I guess, outline that I had of all right. So, you wake up one day, or in Sean's case, he had a father who shot and he used to go and shoot with them.
Yeah.
Um, I think he had a 20. He used to shoot the 10-22. That was what he was talking about.
Okay.
And then the question was, when was the first time you went shooting? Um, well, let's start with that. When was the first time you shot a gun?
First
Do you
time
remember?
I shot anything at all was inside a warehouse, 12 gauge with no hearing. I couldn't hear
Oh
for like
my
4 hours.
lord!
Yeah, it was
Just one
retarded.
shot. One shot. That
And
was it.
two, and
Oh, he went and
we
did
were
the second.
shooting into like plywood.
Okay.
And the first time I shot from the hip with it's like a little baby sawed off 12 gauge.
Okay.
And not a good thing to try and hold the recoil. And that hurt. And then I ended up just letting it go the second time and it was fine. But man, I couldn't hear for hours, dude.
Okay.
Couldn't hear
All
for
right.
hours.
So did you get the bug then, or is it later on? You probably were young then, and then when you
Yeah,
got
I
a
was
little
young.
older.
Uh, nah, I didn't get the bug because I didn't think it was enjoyable at all compared to, well,
True. Yeah.
being
12 gauge
brutal
is not.
12 gauge and then not being able to hear for hours, like I was like, oh, I thought it was going to be different,
Hmm.
and then honestly, once I got, it was like after the Sandy shooting in Connecticut, and then I had this whole thing that happened at my shop, on that
You got to tell
Saturday.
the story because I don't think was the last
Yeah.
time did we talk about it, or did me and you talk about that on the phone? I think we talked about it on the phone, and not the last
You
time
said,
that we got to repeat.
I started to mention it and you said, no, I don't want to say it yet. You
Oh
wanted to
yeah,
wait.
because we were just still. So we might as well tell it. Tell the whole story about the shop.
All right. So I had a back of a building all to myself
What kind
and
of shop? They don't know.
auto body shop. And
Okay.
it was like a beautiful Saturday afternoon. I had all, high end cars around, motorcycles, stuff like that. And I'm just playing on the phone in the shop at the desk. And the guy walks in and he's like, oh, I like my keys in my car. I work over here, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, look, he goes, you got any money or whatever? And I was like, look, I ain't got no money, but I can help you get in your car. Not a problem. And he was like, no, no. And he took off, but meaning if he was meant ill intent, I didn't have a pocket knife. I didn't have anything.
Hmm.
So I said, I got to get something. I bought a machete, kept that in the shop in the drawer or whatever. And then from there, I just ended up getting into shotgun. Never shot that one. And then I ended up buying, I don't even know how many, like I bought a hunting rifle, Remington 700, 30-06. I bought the SKS. I bought Mosin Nagants, a Chinese and a Russian. I bought a 1022.
So
I
what was
had a
the first
bunch.
thing? The shotgun. The shotgun you said was the first. That wasn't the same shotgun that you shot.
No.
No. This is how long of a period of time was it when you got your next shotgun or your first
Oh,
shotgun or whatever?
geez. That was my friend's shotgun I shot. That was probably, we were like, 21, maybe
Hmm.
2018. I don't remember.
Okay.
We were young and then it was, yeah, I think it was probably 20. Yeah, it was probably 21. I was probably 30 or so, or 40 even.
Hmm. Okay.
Whenever Sandy, when was that shooting?
Oh
The
man.
Sandy Hook
Shoot.
thing.
Terrible time. Yeah, that changed a lot in New York, man. And that was in Jersey, right?
Cause that was basically, I got in the one gun I had got, which is a
Okay.
high point 9 millimeter carbine, was right before they locked everything down with that. Like that was legit. I got it legit. And then after that, I wouldn't have been able to do it. Like my one store wouldn't even do the transfer. The Army Navy store and then 112.
Yes.
They wouldn't
Okay.
even do the transfer. I had to go down to the South Shore, the guy Mike on the South Shore,
Okay.
and he did it. That's how
Got
close
it.
that was.
Mm. So it says 2012. So that was
So yeah, right, whatever that was, yeah, 12.
okay. Cool. 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 So how long before you got your next gun? Because you named a whole bunch of them.
It was all within 2 months. I bought all this stuff.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I was like, you can tell me about guns that's making some
Yeah, I
time.
started with the shotgun and then literally bought everything else within 2, 3 months. Yep.
Okay. All right. So you did actually
That was
did
the
catch a
bug.
bug. You
Yeah,
caught a
that was
bug.
the
All
bug.
right.
Was the bug was
So
then once I got it, it was like, oh, this is cool. And then I started customizing them, doing my own
mm,
gunsmithing and
all right.
now I reload also. So
Okay. So you're responsible for me trying to reload. I got on I got on Sean for getting me involved with this stuff in the first place, but you got me into because it was funny. It was before I even started getting involved with any type of guns or whatever. And I came to see you when you were over in Pine, off of Pine,
yeah, the
and
apartment.
you,
Yep.
yeah, you showed me your turret system, and then you started bringing out all these bullets. I was like, what the heck? But it still wasn't relative to me. You know what I'm saying? I was like, that's cool,
Yeah.
but I still didn't have anything. Uh, so then as soon as I started shooting, I was like, yo, Mike. And then you were telling me about what you had, and you were like, but you don't have to start like that. You can get a single stage. And I ended up getting, was it Lyman? No, I didn't get the Lyman. It's the orange one. Who's the
Red. What
orange?
color?
It's orange. Is it red or orange? I thought
Orange?
it was orange. Is it
Orange,
red?
probably lyman, I guess, because I know
Yeah,
most of the
Lyman.
colors, like
Yeah,
Hornaday's red,
yeah,
mine's blue, the Dillons are blue, and RCBS is green.
yeah. I know that one's
So
green.
I think
I
the
think.
lyman must be orange. Um, I had the two toolboxes, the tall one
Hmm.
and the low one, and I was like looking, I'm in the truck, and I'm like, if I take the reloading stuff and empty that, if I can get all my tools in one toolbox, the bigger
Hmm.
one, and I take and I'll put all the other stuff, all my reloading stuff, the dies, everything in that other box. And I can bolt the machine on top. I put the tumbler on the right, the trimmer in the middle, and the bullet maker on the left. I'm done. That's my whole
That's
resetup
your whole
thing is
setup.
all done in the one toolbox. That'd be perfect.
That's cool. Yeah, that's dope. Now, how many
So
die do you have?
uh, I have well, right now I was going to sell some, but then I decided not to because they're not worth. They're not. You don't get the money anywhere near what you pay, and it's like horrible. So I ended up getting, um, I got 300 blackout, 30 odd six, 308. Or do I have 308 yet? I don't know. I started setting up for 308. So I don't know if I bought them yet. I have 338 Lapua. I have 223s, 556, 300 blackout, um, 9 millimeter 40 cal, 38 special. I think that's about it. Yeah.
Nice.
And now I
All
got a
right.
whole bunch of, the quick from my turret machine. I can set up each caliber almost.
Right. That's dope. I gotta
So
get there, man. Because I am now starting to feel the pinch of I need more ammo. Because I'm
well, that's
going and
what it
shooting
is.
a lot, you know?
That's when it pays off. Look, for what I shoot, which is like never, right?
Hmm.
But when I shoot, they're like, "Oh, does reloading pay off?" And you're like, "No, not for mine
Oh
because
my
like
goodness.
I don't shoot that often." But if you shoot
Right.
often, then they say it pays off big time because you can reload your same brass. I don't know how many times. Like, on the average, I don't reload hot. So on the average, they get like 10 or 11 times,
Oh,
per
really?
brass. Yeah.
Okay. I thought I was reading it was like 4 or 5 or something because I don't know.
I
Maybe
guess
I was
depending
reading
on
it.
the bullet, but for the most ones I read, it was like ten times. So
Okay. I'm kind of short. Should I put my camera down or what the heck? Is that fine? I have a lot of
Yeah,
great
I'm just
space.
holding mine, so it's just comfortable where I'm at. Otherwise, I'd
Yeah,
be
I'm on a
probably
computer,
different.
so
I'd probably put it up more like this, but
huh. Okay. I'm gonna leave it for now. It does look kind of crazy though. I look like
no, it don't look too bad.
look like this. All right.
Well,
So
you got the perfect set of the mic and then the top of your head, but just because it has a lot on the top. But
if I bring it down, you're gonna see a lot of the floor and stuff.
that's what
I
I'm
don't want
saying. It's good for that bottom part.
to. I got you.
It's like
All
perfect
right.
for that bottom part.
So one of the things that I asked Wolfman, Mr.
Mhm.
Sean, was what he thinks responsible gun ownership looks like. Now you've been doing this for a long time, now. So like what is that considered to you? I know you don't have any kids around you now, but you were around kids before, when you
Yeah,
had
I
children.
had anytime it was grandkids, so the grandkids came over. Everything that was either next to the bed it had was loaded, obviously, but anything underneath the bed was in gun cases, no ammo around. And then anything that was loaded, pistols and all that stuff went into basically a locked closet. The kids didn't have access to.
Okay. All
Um,
right.
but the ammo was never around. I never even really anything that was under the bed. The ammo was all out in the garage. You know what I mean? Completely separate. So there was like no way to, you know.
Okay. So now that you're down in another state, since you
hmm
abandoned us, give us a little bit of understanding of how the gun culture is with where you are now, and can you carry? Do you carry? And if you know of how the laws are down there for carrying.
As far as I know, right now, they originally started when I came down. Originally, you needed a permit to conceal carry, and or I guess you could open carry at that time too. I'm not sure. Um, but I got it right away just because I could, because I'm from New York. I came down. I'm like, I wanted my concealed carry, so I got it, and then they changed the law, and then they made it where you needed it for concealed carry, but for open carry, you didn't need it. As long as you were 18, you could open carry. Now it's constitutional carry, so no matter what, you don't need it. You can carry concealed, open, whatever, as long as you're 18, you're good. And I thought it was going to be a little crazy, but really, out of the 2 years, year and a half that I've been down here, and they had the laws changed like that, I've seen two or three guys carry open. That's it. Everybody else, I don't, you don't notice.
Hmm.
Sorry.
It's all right.
But your video, oh, there you go. Your video came back. It was frozen.
Mm. All right.
Um,
Well,
and the laws now, I went through the class. If I'm gonna carry, which I don't yet right now, I just keep it in the console of the truck. But, if I did carry, it would be a revolver, my revolver when I get it.
okay. So you can open carry in South Carolina.
I
Okay.
can open, I can conceal, I can do anything, and I don't need a permit. Now it's
So
just
I guess it's
whatever.
almost like the way it is for Sean down in Florida. The only reason, not the only reason, but the one reason like he wants to get a permit is because he wants to be able to have his permit work in other states because that's where reciprocity can come. Like he could stay wherever he is and he can just open carry, but he wants to be able to have some
Yeah.
type of documentation so he can carry elsewhere. Is that why they do that now in South
Um,
Carolina?
Maybe, but also I was told I haven't bought a pistol down here yet
Hmm.
especially through like a gun store. Uh, they say like you do your background check, you're in and out. Like, cause they already did the background check for the permit for the concealed carry. They do extensive background check on you. So now if I go into a store, I show them my concealed carry permit and, within short period of time, I'm out the door. Have a nice day. See ya. And they supposedly get rid of those records.
I know we talked about that. You want to give your opinion about them doing the Nick stuff?
I don't think they're going to get rid of anything, but that's
Mm.
just me getting, government's not going to get rid of a record saying that you have a gun. It's just stupid, but to think that anyway. But it was a New York cop that told me that was behind the counter at Palmetto State Armory. He's the one that told me. He goes, well, this is again, but before I got mine's permit. So now the things changed, but he goes, you don't need to get it, but if you want to get it, he goes, when you come in to get your gun, it's a lot faster and shorter, shorter period of time. You can just walk in, show the thing, and they, okay, what do you want? That, okay. And then within a couple of minutes, like you're out.
Oh, okay. It's beneficial then. It has its benefits, I guess.
And supposedly he said they throw away that info. The other one they
And
don't.
you got yours, you said, right? So you do have yours.
Yeah, I have it. Here it is. Wallet's in the truck. I thought it was in the truck. I usually keep my wallet in the truck. Ding, ding,
Cool,
ding.
man. That's it. That's it.
I haven't used it for anything yet. Never pulled it out.
Okay.
So,
That's fresh. I'll probably blur that out so nobody knows where the heck you live.
yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? We don't want any strangers coming up to you. All right. So you reload. You have crazy collection, and some of the stuff that I saw was cool. I'm just about to put. I have just the only one of
I
yours
have unique
on
stuff. That's
Instagram.
usually my
I have
stuff
that
is kind
blue
of
one.
unique. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna start putting some of them up there now. I haven't. I went back to Empire and took one other set of of shots of some nice handguns, and I think I have like two more to put up. But I did yours. I did this guy Chuck that I met at Empire as well. It was a patron there, and he has some interesting stuff. So he sent me some picture. Well, he showed me this picture there, and I was like, oh, you should show that. Give it to me, send it to me, and I'll put it on Instagram. And that was like 3 weeks ago. So he was like, "Where's the picture?" This was like 2 days, 3 days ago, and I said, "Oh," because I kind of worked on it, but I was trying to go through everything I got from Empire, you know. Um, but then I'm like, let's break it up. So I put his up, and today I'm gonna do yours, one of yours, that SKS.
The
What about the
SKS one.
SKS?
Yeah.
You said, yeah, you said you didn't
That
like
was a
that
nice
gun.
gun. And honestly, on that one, if you look, you can't even tell. I can't tell. And I did it. The bayonet is supposed to
Hmm.
be about an inch and a half, 2 inches longer. I
Okay,
shortened the bayonet because it didn't fit.
got it.
And then I custom ground on the bottom of the stock. I ground a groove into the stock to fit the bayonet that still didn't really make what we're supposed to.
Mm.
And that
All
was
right.
cool. I did some mods to that thing. It was trigger job done, extended mag release. I ground the bolt. So on most SKSs, to if you have a removable mag, you can't put a removable mag in with the loaded with the bolt closed. You have to have the bolt open.
Mm.
So in order to do it closed, you have to grind the bolt. You have to grind your hourglass, both sides of the bolt.
All right.
And,
And that's
uh,
what you did.
and that's what I did. Yeah.
Now you said you didn't like the gun, and
It
you
was
sold it.
heavy.
What? It's heavy. It's pretty
Yeah.
though. The gray is nice.
It's shot nice. It's smooth, like shot nice and smooth and everything. I just,
Okay. So
I
yeah.
have my AR. It's okay. But I want to start shooting AR more, to be honest. I shoot the
It's
AR
fun.
more, shoot my pistol more.
Yeah, those are fun, man. I mean, that's my favorite is still an AR. I'm
Yeah.
really enjoying the handgun stuff, and I still didn't really talk about what I ended up doing. I guess I don't know when I'll do that, but I kind of did a little bit with Sean,
Okay.
because he was responsible for dragging me in there. But mine
Hmm.
would be another 30 minutes. I don't want to do an hour. Um,
As far as scopes or whatever.
um, all right. So this is the question I was asking Malia. What do you want to do? Because she wants to start shooting at Lispa. I think it's called Lispa. And it's out there in the private range in Southampton.
Okay.
And they have different categories. And she likes shooting the AR. So I was like, the first thing you have to do is figure out, do you want to do LPVO, which is a low power variable optic? So, it has some type of range. It usually goes from one, and the good ones, and when I say good ones, there's a few different manufacturers I don't really need to talk about. But to do a true one on something that is a variable in terms of times X for your visibility,
Hmm.
it's hard to do that. And traditionally, they used to always just have like a 1 to 3 or 1 to 4 and stuff. And recently, they've gone past 1 to 6 to 1 to 8, and now you're starting to see some 1 to 10s out there, and some of them will claim to be 1x to 10. In terms of your zoom. The zoom, the eye relief gets kind of messed up, or how you see it just gets narrower, or the other way around, where the one isn't really a 1x. You know what I'm saying? So with a red dot, hello, hello.
Yep. Yep.
With a red
I got
dot, it's a true 1x. So if you want to be able to just shoot a target short range, it's a good one to deal with. I have a Romeo from Sig
you.
Sauer,
Okay.
and that crapped out on me. So three
Oh,
weeks
that's
ago,
the one you're waiting for.
yes, and I saw Friday. I think it was sent out. They
Okay.
finally gave me an email. So that's on one. And then I have like an LPVO from, that's a Barris. It's a really clean glass. The eye relief isn't terrible. Um, it uses a regular AA battery, I think. No, it doesn't. It uses a flat battery. It uses actually,
2032s.
it is a 2032. Yeah, so I started keeping a bunch of those.
Yep.
And the reason being is because it doesn't like shake the wake. I actually have to turn the turret to turn it on and all, and it goes brighter.
Yeah.
And I always forget to turn it off when I go shooting.
Exactly. I know.
And
That's what everybody does. I have the same thing. I have stacks of those batteries floating around because I always forget to turn it off. Like,
yeah,
every time I go to use the gun, new battery.
yeah.
Like,
So I mean, I like what I would like to do. I still want to build a really nice, crazy one, and I want to be able to have like a canter, like a 45 degree 1x, and I'll get a small like pistol type red dot that just is
mm,
right off the side, and then have the LPVO as my main optic.
so the main optic now, if you use the red dot ones, right?
Hmm.
Can you put a magnifier behind that? No,
Yes,
it
I
does work.
do. I have a. All right, yeah. So my magnifier is, I believe, I think my magnifier is a 3x. I believe it is a 3x. Yeah. So I have a red dot with a 3x basically right behind it, and that works
Okay.
cool because you can also take it off and have it go just straight
Yeah,
away.
my magnifier that I had was on a flip over,
Yes, a hinge,
the hinge
basically,
one. Yeah.
with a plunger that pulls it over to the. So that's what I have, and I mean that's I love that gun. It's the first gun I made. It was the one that Sean decided to pull me out of the house when I was being all stressed out and depressed, and come with me to the store. I'm gonna go check this out. Turns out he was in the process of building his first one. I didn't know that, you know. And I went there, and it was I'm repeating myself from the other day, but it was an Anderson lower, and I think I left with $59 for that, and I was like, really? So that was it. Then I start, you know me, I'd start
Mm.
researching and everything,
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, from there it just went crazy. Mike from Empire was really like my coach at the time, I guess you could call it, because they can get stuff. So I was like, all right, I want this color. I was in love with flat dark earth and black.
I tell
Um,
you, it's a nice gun you set up.
yeah, and I'm pretty good at doing stuff like I watch you and I see you're really meticulous about how you do things. I try to be. I mean, I've been that way all my life, taking things apart. I just, for some reason, like my father wasn't a mechanic, so I never got around cars. I used to work on
Yeah.
bikes and things like that, but um, I just know how things put things together. I was the same way with car audio. So yeah, that's a really cool shooting gun. It has this crazy big muzzle blast because nothing on the end of the muzzle. It's just boom, big fireball, but it shoots pretty true, and it's not bad. And then I went back and did some more. I did a few other ones, and
Now that is what is it? A4 flash hider or whatever they call that, right? Is that
the flash
considered an
hider.
issue for you guys?
Yes, well, it depends. All right, so in New York, the laws are just crazy, and they keep changing, and they've changed since you've left.
That's why I was
Um,
asking. Yeah.
yeah, they've changed since you left. So there's something called featured lists or features. So if you want to have a gun that is, I won't say fully operational because they all operate the same way, right? They go boom when you push it in, you point it in a certain direction and you press the trigger, or pull the trigger
Yeah.
or squeeze the trigger, the proper language for it. But um, the cosmetics of the gun can look kind of funky coming from states that have these restrictions on ARs. All right, not complete bans, but restrictions. So California is really the main culprit, and it seems when California does something, states like New York, Maryland, they kind of follow suit. Connecticut, New Jersey, they just kind of follow suit. Um, so so if you wanted to have a gun that looks like an M4, an AR, then you'd have to have it featureless. And what I mean by that is like if you wanted to have um, a threaded barrel with some type of flash hider, compensator, the compensator is cool. It's the flash hider. And then you have to have um, a stock that does not collapse, right? What else do you need on that gun? And you have to have a fixed magazine.
Pix magazine. Yeah.
So people's like, well, if you know anything about an AR, well, how the heck do you load that thing? Because if the magazine is pin and welded, or if they make certain magazines that just,
They pull the pin, right?
yeah, you actually have to take it down halfway. So you have it as a pivoting device, and then you put it in from the top. And, that's supposed to help alleviate if you were in a gunfight, I guess, illegally, and you were
The quick
fighting with the
reloading.
police, or
Yeah.
you wouldn't just be able to drop magazines and keep. I don't want that. That's corny. So for somebody who wants to have a magazine, use magazines to actually shoot, so you can get proficient with a real type of gun, and that's what I mean by a real gun. It's you can actually practice with it. Well, now you have to change certain things because they don't want you to have a stock in certain places, and especially in California, where your thumb has a what do you call that?
Thumb hole. Yeah.
The handle. What is it?
Oh, the
Is it a
pistol
handle?
grip.
The grip. Yes, the grip. So the grip has to. You can't have like a full grip on it. So your thumb has to be on one side of it, or has to be higher than the trigger. That's the way they used to
Oh my
determine
God.
it. Yeah,
Really?
it's really weird. So I made mine that they look really nice, and they don't look as retarded as the ones that have those fins. The fins. So DSI started making it like that, where they were getting some problems back in the days because people were calling these guns others and stuff, and I never understood what that meant, and it was just trouble. So you try to go and decipher it yourself. So if you do decide to have removable mags, you can't have any other features. So you can't have a flash hider. You can't have
But if you pin the mag, then you
adjustable.
can have all the other
If you
ones, no?
yes. So I can't have an adjustable stock. So all my stocks are rifle length fixed stocks. But that's fine
Right.
with me. You know what I'm saying? Um, I didn't have to do that fin thing. And there was some other cool things that they used to be on the market, and I was able to buy them. This one guy in particular, there was these spur grips that were really cool, and it wasn't a
Hmm.
grip; it was just underneath the trigger, and it allowed you to at least have like one finger to be, and that was cool. But he went out of business, and so things have
I have,
changed. And,
I found it when I was packing in the stuff. I found that one is Thorsten, I think. Thorsten or something like that, or
yes.
Ton or
Hmm.
something. I have one of those in green, the army green.
Okay.
I never put it on just because I bought it just when I was in New York in case they bust my chops. I had said, "Oh
Right.
yeah, yeah, I got one."
Yeah. So then things changed when Herkel got into. I think that's a Herkel. Herkel.
Yeah, Hokel, Herkel, yeah.
Herkel. When she got into the governor's house and they came out with that Improvement Act, what was it exactly called? The Concealed Carry Improvement Act. Yes, that's what it
Oh,
was.
okay.
And that just changed everything, man. It did. I mean, they had to make some changes because New York was always really one of those hardest places that you can get a concealed carry. And when we were growing up, it just you didn't even think about carrying. You had to be somebody that carried large amounts of money. So there was bankers, there were lawyers, jewelers, and that was
Business
it.
owners, yeah.
And it was and
And
not
they
not
even
just
had to
business
check your
owners.
books.
Yeah, it wasn't just business owners because a lot of people didn't get them, and they tried to make it just so it was difficult. So, and when I do talk about these, I'm talking about for Manhattan, and you have to remember that Manhattan is one of the main reasons. Not just Manhattan, we do have other boroughs that make up the big city, but this is one of the biggest cities, so it affects the whole state, and
Yeah.
that's when the Supreme Justices were like, "Well, wait a minute, this is kind of ridiculous," and that was that Bruin versus New York City case that ended up coming down, where it was like, listen, that you're infringing on people's rights, and people should be able to carry, and they should be issued one instead of maybe issued one, and that's the way
I
it was going to
remember
go.
reading when I was doing the permit up north, like you got, it
Hmm.
said one of the reasons of not to get or carry was because you live in a bad area. I'm like, yeah, that is the reason to carry. Like, what? Like, it's literally said because just because you live in a bad neighborhood does not, isn't a reason to carry. We're like, yeah, no, that is the reason to carry.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of I don't know. Um, we're gonna get more involved with some of that stuff and our opinions. We're not counsel, but we do live. And you were from here, it's just like Wolf was from here. So we have these battle scars from when we were younger. It was just certain things like gun ownership was just a taboo, and they made you see that through the laws. You know what I'm saying? And then you start meeting people from other places where they were shooting when they were little kids. It's just, huh?
Yeah.
So wait a minute, and it just makes you start saying, well, why? I mean, I do understand the whole city stuff. That is a big deal. But me and Sean left off where we was talking about how, yeah, but everybody carries. We would have this high, all of a sudden, this arc going up with violence, but it would subside quickly.
Oh, no,
You know what I'm
definitely.
saying? And that's
Look,
not to say there
when I
wouldn't
went
be
to
any casualties
Texas,
or
I
whatever.
like, you think here's pretty good, right? Like, oh, it's pretty loose down here. Everybody's pretty much gun pro, and for the most part, it's pretty good. I went to Texas and my mom, and then I'm listening to all these people, older women. My mom's 76,
Okay,
I think 76, and she just got her carry permit.
that's
And
great.
all the women around her are all talking about, oh yeah, look, and this is what I got. They're talking about their pistols, what they carry, and they're all in the pocketbooks. And yeah, they all carry, man. Like everybody in Texas carries.
Yeah.
Young, old, women, male, female, doesn't matter, you know?
Yeah.
And if,
I
I
mean,
remember
once it
years
becomes
ago, I
part.
was like afraid of that, right? It's like, oh, everybody
Yeah.
carries. Well, but if you think about it, if everybody carries, you're not going to fuck around because you're going to get
That
your
is
ass
the thing,
shot.
and that's what we were talking about. And it's such a it's a profound idea, but people don't think about it until you start thinking about it. You know, I mean, why would you? You know, we know criminals have guns. That's all you know. You don't. So they don't want me to have a gun, and it's like that's not fair. But so you don't think about, well, what if everybody was out allowed to carry? You know, it just sounds so crazy, but there's so many communities that aren't ready.
You're never going to get guns out of criminals' hands. There's always a
Yes,
way to get
see,
them. You're
that
never
is
going to
one
get
of the
rid of them.
things
So you
that
might as well just let everybody carry if there's content. Look, background checks, extensive background checks, and the training course, especially for pistols. Pistols are different from rifles, I think, safety wise. And I think you should have a safety course and that kind of thing. And after that, like, yeah, everybody carry. You know what I mean? Like, I can say constitutional carry, but there should be some kind of safeties training somewhere behind it. You know, not just, oh yeah, here you go. You know, you turn 18, here you go. You know,
okay.
you
All
shoot
right.
yourself in the foot, the hip. You know,
Well, I'll tell you this, like we were talking about in the beginning, man. I couldn't hit the paper. You know, one of the most profound things, and I don't know if this is the truth or not, but I can imagine because I could see how long it takes to really start becoming more proficient. But you know, I've had people who train police officers and people who train, and they were saying cops don't even know how to shoot because they don't take their time just to always do that.
nope.
So yes, training should be part of something. Um, I know
I
that's
look,
not.
an hour or so, or a couple hour course of just handling it and safety. You know, like just the basics of safety, carrying a gun you know, different types of pistols. You know,
Mm,
I just think it should be. And then there should be extensive background check. Like if you're a lunatic psycho from whatever, have a crazy history, no, you're not allowed to have a gun. Whether you're, you know, constitutional or not. I don't agree with the NRA on that. Like everybody's like, no matter what, you have a right to carry. No, if you're a fucking psycho, you don't deserve to carry.
okay, that's good. That's an interesting way of looking at stuff. So, all right, cool.
My
All
opinion,
right,
yeah.
so um, we've been going for 53 minutes. That's a long time. It
Yeah, I
seemed
see
like it
that.
was a few minutes, but yeah, this is good. And I'm hoping that we can all three to get together. So now I have two episodes I gotta freaking put together. It'll be part one and part two. And next, I guess we'll talk more about gun culture in America. That was on our outline, and this is all goes through like you wake up one day, I want a gun. All right, so you do some research. You go and you find out. I'm gonna go to the store, a gun store, and I'm gonna have somebody just say, "What should I get? I want a gun. What do you suggest? Do I get a shotgun? Do I get a rifle? Do I?" You know, Sean's idea was, I think an AR or something like that is the best choice. I've heard people say shotguns. I heard people say handguns. I personally, I like the idea of having an AR or a rifle of some sort. You know, I have more control with that. It'd be nice in New York. Once again, there's so many restrictions. We can't have something that they call a short barrel rifle, because I
Mm,
think if you shorten that length a little bit, now you can move around a little more efficiently and safely. But we
yeah.
have to have ours at 16. At least the barrel has to be 16 inches. So it could
Well,
be a
what do you
little
think
longer.
about those carbines?
Pardon? The
Uh,
carbines, yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, it's
But
like a
like,
pistol rifle mix,
yes,
you know?
yeah. Well, we can't even we can't even think about that, much less, because SBR is not allowed. So a pistol carbine, no, that's not happening
And
for us. But I still like the way an AR feels. I would feel less secure trying to defend my house with a shotgun.
you think so?
Yeah, for me, because I know how to. Like you told a story about the 12 gauge. It's
Yeah.
nice to hear that sound because that's ingrained in people's heads. That so my. But for me, being comfortable and coming around, keep hitting speakers. and coming around the corners or whatever, I feel comfortable with an AR. You know what I'm saying? So, but in any case, we'll talk about more gun culture in America. We'll start with history. You know, matter of fact, I want to start getting into some of the historical guns. You know, I met a couple of people at the range, and they have World War II guns. You know, that's all they have, and most of them don't have optics. It's just iron sights.
Yeah, like my SKS. I didn't have anything on there. Actually, those I like those iron sights. Those were nice. If
Yeah.
you look at the way the SKS iron sights are, they're really adjustable. It was cool.
Okay.
They were nice.
So hopefully next time, stay tuned. I know that we'll put this out there. Nobody's watching them but us, but one day somebody will. And hopefully
Yeah,
this will be information for them because, like in New York, I found a couple of people that do this in California, you know, where they try to like give some guidance and talk education in terms of all this stuff because it's needed. You know, just
yeah, you
talking about
definitely
like
do need it if you're not if you're
yeah,
just starting out.
like what could you do? What can you get in trouble for? What can't you? And I have to go back over some things, and I know they're trying to come out with some more laws. We'll see if they pass. But we also have other stuff happening in the administration that is changing some things too. So we'll see. It's all a waiting game right now, because that Snope v. Brown that was supposed to give us the freedom to have. Well, we were hoping it would give us the freedom. It was about so-called assault weapon ban, and it was from Maryland. You know, and if they would have at least granted cert, cert for listening to that case, it might have changed some things. Now they didn't dismiss it, but they kicked it down, saying that, you know, we'll come back and revisit this in a term or two, which means now we might have no chance of seeing any changes for another like year and a half, 2 years. So, but
Yeah,
there are some things that are cooking in the court. So we'll just see where it goes. You know.
I think there's so many other things on the plate that are going on in other
I
aspects of
agree,
that.
and they
They're
only.
that's like, right now they're
I
like,
think
yeah, I'm not.
I
That's
think
not a
they said
main
something
priority
like
list.
maybe 16 cases, and I'm bugging because I don't remember the exact number, but it was really low compared to the 100 of cases that get thrown at them. They only look at a few of them, so there's a lot of stuff going on right now. It's a confusing time, so we'll see. We'll stay tuned. So, my man, Mike Ducati,
Yeah.
aka Buddy, we still call you Buddy here. It was great talking to you, man.
Good, definitely good talking to you and
We got to
seeing you.
make
And
sure that we keep the team together and
yeah, definitely.
continue doing this. You know. All right, my brother.
All righty.
I'll talk to you in a few.
All right. Have a good one.
Later.
I don't know how to end this one.
I will.
They say freedom ain't free. Well, I paid my dues. Red, white, and blue, I know my roots. Locked and loaded, standing tall. The right to bear arms, it's for us all. I want a gun, I wanna fight. Stand for my freedom, stand for my rights. Shall not be infringed, it's plain to see. You don't get to take it away from me. Passed down strong, from father to son. Protection, tradition, day one. I ain't looking for trouble, but I won't back down. Defend what's mine on solid ground. I want a gun, I wanna fight. Stand for my freedom, stand for my rights. Shall not be infringed, it's plain to see. You don't get to take it away from me. We to bear arms, it's for us all. We hold the line. This ain't just words, it's how we shine. From the mountains to the plains, our liberty still remains. Locked and loaded, standing tall, the right to bear arms, it's for us all.